We're obviously late, and as usual, there's a ghost in the machine that we're chasing down. We're gonna get him before next week, Wednesday, when this show becomes a nightly show, and there's a lot of stuff to tell you about that. But before we do all of that, tonight we have two very big and important segments. You're gonna get your full 2 hours, including that extra 7 minutes. We have in studio two senior members of the Candlelight Movement and the founder of Victim in the Dark. She has a story to tell. And in the second hour, we have my brother, Paul Elias Alexander, one of the most renowned epidemiologists right now practicing. And he will be talking to us about COVID-19, the vaccines, and where we go from here. But for now, we take a look at this. When we come back, we jump right in.
So when Mr. Man jumped out the car, two of them, right? One in front and one walk up to the vehicle. That's to tell you how bold-faced. This is how all they're doing things now, because all they don't care about the law, the police. And I said I wasn't coming here to curse, but I'm so upset. All they don't care about the police, all they don't care about nobody, all they don't care about nothing. Right? Mr. Man put his hand inside my car and open my car door and pull me out of the car. Right? And the next one walk up in my face with a gun. You have a gun in my face and telling me pass everything. Only listen to what it is I say. That's why I leave home for. Pass everything. So they hand in my pocket. All they hand in my pocket. I had my handbag on my seat, on my front seat. I had my handbag on my front seat. Mr. Man lean in my car, like if it's his car. Right? Pick up my handbag. And the next one, on my right hand side, digging up in my pockets, searching me, where you have. Right? And on top of that, these fellas only looking so young. Only look like if only past 30. Young fellas doing this kind of thing. Right? But what Ole didn't realize, that Ole chose the wrong to rob. That is what Ole didn't realize. That Ole picked the wrong person on the wrong day to rob. Because I don't tolerate them kind of thing.
And we're back. We are the proud owners of the stingiest producer in all of TV. We never know when we're on, we never know when we're off. He counts us down and gives us sometimes 15 seconds, sometimes 2. But we love him. The ever reliable, virtually indestructible Satish Shamsarai. But tonight, we have serious stuff to discuss. Before we get to that, I'd like to thank Darren's Air Conditioning for keeping us cool. Darren does a great job. Unique woodworking for all the support Harvey gives us, including our Candlelight Movement stage that he built in quick time to keep us, I guess, organized. We want to shout out Southbridge Electrical for the beautiful lighting in the studio, and to remind them we need more. And Trissa Hydro Farm. And Trissa Hydro Farm are some really good people. Their number, I think Satish is going to share the number, 682-5909. They are a farm that supplies and delivers some of the best greens at the best prices, and they supply to me every couple of weeks, and it's good stuff. Right, so I have with me on my left Felicia Holder. She is now the elected chairman of the Candlelight Movement. And on my right, Candice Barrett, she's the PRO. And this interview tonight, they're going to be doing most of the talking. I want to do some of the listening for a change. Over to you, ladies.
Well, good evening, good night. I was not aware that I was going to be co-hosting, but I'm up for the challenge. I believe it's Candy, pleasure to meet you, and I guess you're going to be sharing some of your story with us. So myself as well as the viewers, I know, are looking forward to hearing exactly what it is you would have experienced. And Candice, over to you.
Yeah, we're glad to have Candy Hospitalis here with us. Some of you may have seen a live video that she did recently, and we were lucky enough to have her agree to come to do this interview with us and sit down and tell us about her experience. So if you haven't seen the live, she will give you some of what happened to her tonight, and then we will discuss.
Yeah. All right, so where do I start?
Start from the beginning.
Well, I'll ask you a question, okay? You can pull that mic closer so that they could hear you. I don't think Satish got a chance to do a mic check, so you could say good evening to the audience.
Pleasant good evening to everyone.
Yeah, so Satish, you tell me you're good with that. Just to get the ball rolling, that video was very graphic and it was very dramatic to watch.
Yes.
You went through all of that.
Yes. It was the worst experience ever. And if I didn't have the training
Project a little more because they're going to tell me volume. I know the viewers are going to tell me volume. So speak up a little.
all right. What I'm saying is that if I didn't have the training that I had, I would not have been able to be here to tell the story.
You're more to shut.
Yes.
I like that part of your video though. I liked when you tell them you could have taken out their organs.
Because that's what I do on a daily basis. That's my job.
I want more women to post videos like yours.
Yes.
When I saw your video, I said, yes, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
How did it start?
Okay, so I got up. That was my day off, Tuesday, and I decided, I want to go and run an errand. I don't usually go anywhere by myself. But I say, it's a quick run, let me go fast. Left home, and I'm very observant, very, very observant. And I noticed that a black X-ray was following my vehicle. But I wanted to be sure because I don't want to call police and then they say, this crazy person, nobody following you. So I slow down, the X-ray will slow down. I speed up, the X-ray will speed up. So I pulled the car to the side of the road and I stopped. The X-ray will stop. So I got on the phone and I started to call police. Called them 3 times and I got, you have reached police emergency. Please hold for next available agent. So by that time my nerves were.
And I want to say this, that is not managed by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and I have said over and over and over, the emergency police line should be the responsibility of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And to whoever in government has had the brain fart to put that in a separate ministry, please transfer it to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service so that people in an emergency don't get, you have reached
The voicemail box.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on. Just.
So anyway.
So you didn't get him at all?
I didn't get him. So, but I was closer to home and I didn't want to drive in the station. And next thing, I get shot in my head like a woman who drives in the station. So I decided.
West End.
Right. So I decided to swing in a street to go back home. When I swing in the street, the X-ray followed me, swing in the street. Overtake my vehicle, block my car in the road, and 2 gunmen jump out. It's supposed to be gunmen. And pointing the gun, one of them was pointing the gun at my vehicle for me to come out. But I don't like this freeze up because I think they're going to shoot up my car. So my glass was down and one of them walked up to the car, pushed his hand inside, and because he pulled it outside, he realized it locked. He pushed his hand inside, unlocked the door, opened the car door, and pulled me out. So when they pulled me out, now when he pulled me out, they start to search me down, hand in my pockets, give me everything you have, open my car door. I had my handbag on my seat. He take up the handbag, and then the black X-Trail for some reason drove off, right? And while they're searching me down, one of them turned and said, the boss will like this one, right? So I don't know it's kidnapping already. I don't know that. So while one on this side searching me down, the other one here was talking, and the voice sounded familiar to me. So I'm turning and look at him, and he turned and he say, don't watch my face, don't watch my face. And he take the gun and he pointed at my head. So when he point the gun at my head now, me, I have weapon training, I did weapon training, I know what a firearm feels like, what it looks like. I've noticed that the firearm fake, so I get upset. I turn and I say, is that dummy gun you come to rob me with? So he started curse, he say, what effing dummy gun? You want me to shoot you in your head, lie down on the ground, but like they started panic. But I didn't lie down on the ground. So the other one on this side now pulling me to put a tie strap, or what they call it, zip tie on my hand. And I was pulling away from him. Same time, an Almira drive up. When the Almira drive up, I say, well, all right, this is how it's going to go down. And I attacked the one, because the one on this side, he turned and he say, lie down on the ground before I bust your throat. He had a knife, and he had it at my throat, right? And that would make me say, well, they really don't have a firearm, a real firearm. So I decided now, when the car pull up, to attack the one with the knife. So I hit him in his throat. We start a fight. We end up on the ground. We fall on the ground, struggle for the knife. I take away the knife and I sit down on top of him, and I stab the living daylight out of him. I stab him, sit down and I stab him. And like they didn't expect, because when they come in to do these things, they coward. So they didn't expect nobody to fight back. So while I sit down on top of him, stabbing him, the man in the Almira shouting at the other one with the fake gun and telling him, grab the girl now, grab the girl, grab the girl. So he now coward, running, dragged me by my hair. But as I said in my video, I don't know if I could say it on here.
Not with the industrial language.
I wanted to send him home early. So I didn't get up. I locked my knees on the ground and I hold him down on the ground, and I continue stabbing him. And then when they realized, well, okay, like he going on dead, the guy running and he hold me in a headlock, you know, he just put it to sleep, and he was choking, and he started to drag me towards the vehicle to put me in the car. And I had the knife in my hand still, and I stabbed him in his leg, and he started to squeeze my neck tighter, and I couldn't breathe. I started to see blurry, and he telling me I dropped the knife, but I didn't drop the knife because he didn't carry me nowhere. So I started to rock the knife in his foot like this, and he couldn't take it. So he pulled away. When he pulled away, I pulled the knife, and he started to run. I can't calm down myself. I done upset, so I started to run behind him. He turned around and realized that I running behind him, and he fall down. I fall down, and I jump on him, and I start to stab him up. Stab him in his head. I stab him in his back, his shoulder, he get all over. So the one in the Almira now, when he saw all of that, he speed up with the car to try to bounce me down, and then open the car door to come out. So I run and snatch the car door and pull it to stab him as well, but he ended up driving off, unfortunately. So when they drive off and they go on now, I am bloody from head to foot. The blood that you all saw in that video.
The two that you stabbed.
I didn't even see when the next one get up off the ground and went in the car, and the car drove off, and the other guy who was getting stabbed jumped in the car.
So where was the X-Trail?
So the X-Trail gone since when before the Almira pull up, the X-Trail drove off. And I that was, to me, it was puzzling why the X-Trail it gone, and then this other vehicle come up. So yeah.
You started talking about the blood in the video.
Huh?
You was talking about the blood in the video.
Well, after the whole incident, I was bloody from head to foot, and I was bare feet in the road. Vehicles was passing and slowing down, but nobody stopped. And a phone on the ground, all the stuff from my bag, my handbag, everything on the ground in the road. I pick it up, jump in the car, and drive off. But I didn't know the extent of my injuries until I sleep and get up the next day. That is when I feel everything. So I had internal injuries. So I had to go and seek medical attention for.
But after that, I just want to ask one more question. After that, you didn't go to the police or try to call the police?
I contacted the police via phone, but last year I was about 5 months pregnant and I got robbed at gunpoint in Barataria. Now I had $7,000 on me as well as my phone. And they take the bag from me. I take back my bag with my $7,000 in it because take the phone. They took the phone, and we ended up going and get camera footage and everything. We took it to the station and nothing never came out of it. So I called again. I told them what is the situation, and they told me, well, ma'am, you have to come in the station and make a report. I give them the information about the phone. So let me get some information about the first robbery, and then we will see about the second one. Because as far as I feel, if the first two,
Candy should be given lessons.
I was
Well,
thinking the exact same
listen,
thing.
I sat you that in.
This shouldn't be victim in that. This
I-
should be victims who fight back. You should form that.
Well, yeah, because I sat you that entire story in awe, in shock, and I'm waiting to hear what happened next. Is I heard about the incident, but I did not see the video. And Philip told me we were having you on tonight, and I did not realize it was this much. I mean, you're like Wonder Woman. You just literally fought off, what, 2-3 men?
I have military training, right? I was in the army and stuff before. And we learned something called the 5 seconds rule, which is those 5 seconds is the most crucial seconds. Like when you get in an altercation with someone, you have 5 seconds to do as much damage as possible. So that 5 seconds will determine if you live, if you die.
I just want to know if they found these fellas, these stabber guys.
Well, yeah.
Anything?
You didn't find them on your end.
Nobody anymore.
Not yet, but we check in still. Hopefully they would be in the fridge and I could finish cut them open.
No, but the police show up, like this guy who beat this woman 3 years ago, apparently the video was 3 years old, but the police went and find him. So the police could find who they want to find.
Yes, because I mean a lot of people who is wearing suit and ties and in big positions contributed to the crime situation in the country. It's not a secret, everybody knows that. So I mean, who in this big day and age you have no money, you work nowhere, but you're driving an expensive vehicle and you have big time machine guns, who's paying for that? You living where you're living, you have no money, where you paying for that? Let us be real. So I don't think that. Now let me just say this: human trafficking and organ harvesting is rampant in Trinidad and Tobago. Who don't want to know? Who don't know is because they don't want to know. It is rampant. And what I would say, based on information I received, it have a season for human trafficking. And now is the season. So from what I heard, is from December until the end of April.
Why is there a season?
Yeah, I am not trafficking anybody, so I wouldn't know. But there's a season and there's a particular days based on research where they would target a type. So
Candy, I was afraid to have you on the show. I didn't know how the interview would go. I want to tell you, I like you. I want to talk to you for hours. I like your demeanor. You come across very credible. I like what you're sharing, and I think you could be an inspiration to other women. Forget any haters or detractors out there. Social media has breed that like wood has breed turbine. But you, the language you speak it, women need that in their head. Women need that language in their head. 5-second rule. Take out the eye, bite off the nose. Listen, women need that. And women need to know if you have pepper spray in your hand shouldn't be shaking.
exactly. And then I mean it's a process now to decriminalize non-lethal weapons.
But that's what
right?
our petition is about.
in big 2021, we still trying to get a pepper spray, and then you have to get a permit and all of that. So what are we doing in the meantime while we waiting for them to decriminalize that?
Everybody needs to
Buy
say
a box of matches
that you
and a bottle of gas and how to cook.
Listen, I
Say
love.
that again.
I say no, please do say that again.
Yes, you have to utilize a kitchen. What are you going to do? Wait on the police who never have a car in the station?
What do lawmakers for laws to protect us? That will never happen because it is not a first or second.
Women have so much power. And I mean, women have so much power. I've said repeatedly, if I could have all of the awareness I have in a next life and come back as a woman, why women not running the world, I don't know.
Wow.
The most powerful thing to a man, everything a man does, everything a man owns, everything about a man. We've had this conversation before. If they didn't have women in the world, men wouldn't even have language. We wouldn't talk to each other. Men don't like BMW and Mercedes Benz and Clarks and Bling and Zara. Men don't like none of that shit. We're doing all of that for women. When you go in a gym, you see a man lifting up iron and man lazy. You know that, only know that. Man lazy, we're doing that for women. Women are the most powerful people in the world. When I hear women is paid dinner kid and try to buy their costume, I laugh. I say, women don't understand how powerful they are. Without women, they're not carnival. Without women in the band, is Dina King 5 trucks and Marshall streaming. Ooh. But that's it. Women are the most powerful thing in the country. If all of the women stood up in solidarity for women, and I was hoping that the candlelight movement would get women, forget men, I was hoping the candlelight movement would get women to stand in solidarity and shut this country down. Because if women say, that's it, if we don't get protection, if we don't get ways and means to protect ourselves, we're done. We ain't working, we ain't showing up for work, we ain't coming in your store, we ain't back. Listen, every single thing that exists in this country, and I say this to men, all you know is true, if women say tomorrow, they like man driving donkey cart, BMW and Mercedes bringing out donkey cart, is man buying that? Women are the most powerful. I guess the only reason women don't utilize their power is women don't naturally join up, but you'll have to. This is the power to solve the problem right now. As you say it, the parliament, how many days? February 4th, how many days from then to now, since Andrea there? I listen to all the nonsense people talk about Ashanti, and I realized today the reason that things are kind of down low right now is that we're not letting this one go. We had made noise for Ashanti, we made it normal among the noise.
The Trini
We made it Trini noise.
Yeah.
We made it Trini noise for Shannon. We made it Trini noise for Sammy. For a while we talk, we and then we go on the way. But for this one, we're not stopping. I think that's why things are not down low. But women now, women must realize that if the parliament didn't convene the day after, and if they watch those vigils grow and didn't convene the parliament for that, and if all these days and hundreds of thousands of signatures on a petition and they're still not raising it in the parliament, we need women in this country. And don't wait for them to lead you, women to pull together. You all should be starting groups on social media. We women stand together. It is in unity. Women, if women stand together and stop, just stop, full stop. And I tell you, stop everything, no sex. Stop everything. Women, take one step back. Society not protecting you all, take one step back. The courts will grind to a halt. The parliament will grind to a halt. The hospitals will grind to a halt. All business, all public service, everything that is important everywhere, they have a big shot man on the top, they have 10 smart women holding him up. If all the women in this country took one step back, you'll see how fast they convene that parliament and everything you all want to get.
I agree.
I love that. I agree. Totally agree. I did have a question for you though. what, because I mean, the first thing you would do when you hear a story like that is put yourself in the situation and try to imagine what you would do. And I mean, I'm no ninja like you, but I don't think, I can't even imagine myself being able to do all of that. So I wanted to know what was going through your head at that moment, because the first thing I think I would have felt was fear and terror. I mean, I can't say because it hasn't happened to me, but I would like to know what was going through your head through that entire ordeal.
Well, first of all, it's human, so you will be scared. If I wasn't frightened, I would have get so much as that because of fear, fright. But you have to. Do you have kids?
I don't.
Right. I have a newborn. Right? And I don't want my newborn to be over my coffin. Right?
Yes.
So, and I don't want my family to bury me. So sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself to send a message to be able to get the response that you want. You understand? So in that moment, a lot of things was going through my head, especially when I was sitting like this. You have to remain calm and you have to learn to function under pressure, because you're done in the situation. What you're going to do, scream and bawl? Is that helping you? Save your strength, save your energy, save it to fight back. Look for a way out. You cooperate at the point in time. Listen to them. Observe your surroundings while they're talking. Look for a way out. Your aim is to survive your situation. So regardless of the noise around you, you have to forget the noise and you have to focus on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish.
Which is basically escape with your life.
Yes.
Intact.
So as I said, do as much damage as possible. We live in a time where women are being targeted, they're being kidnapped, raped, trafficked, and forced into prostitution and all these things, right? You don't want to be in a container going somewhere. You don't want that life. So you have to think, put yourself, as you say, you put yourself in that position. What if somebody traffic you and you have to be with 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 men in one day? You're sold off to all these people. So you had to think, I don't want to be in this situation. So if this is to happen to me, this is how I'm going to react. So if I'm in a trunk of a car, you have a car, I surely have a vehicle, everybody have a vehicle. You get in your trunk of your car and you try lock it and try to come out. Try to climb through your windows. You cannot either say, don't think, react. Because if you start think, oh God, next thing you're going and shoot me, next thing you're going and stab me. When you start, you don't get frightened and you freeze up, you have no energy to fight, just a ball, right through, wasting time. So you try to pick ways how you're going to survive if you're in a situation. So as I say, learn how to get some form of, you have to be fit as well. You know, do a little training home, you do a little walking. So if you have to run, you're eating about 20 pieces of chicken every day, so you can't run from day to day because you're breathing hard. You understand? So you walk, you maintain, you know, a little healthy lifestyle, so that if you have to run, you think, jump through the window. Learn to toughen up yourself. You could take some hard lash if somebody hitting you. Not somebody hit you, you stand up on your balling like you're dying and you're young. You understand? So it's about conditioning your mind.
I was just about to say, and you use the word survivor, and that's exactly what it sounded like. You thought like a survivor, not a victim. And I think in that moment, it would be so easy to just, I mean, you're seeing guns, you're alone on the street. The easiest thing to do would be to, you know, succumb to your attackers, but you fought back and you fought as a survivor. But you're seeing that, and I love the idea of, you know, women being able to fight back, but there's that sadness that I think about, where this is where we reach now, that you have to now start thinking, oh, I don't have to look fit, oh, I don't have to exercise just to be fit now, but you have to exercise and be fit in the event that you are attacked. And that is just a very sad reality that we have to live as women.
There's a chemical by the name of formaldehyde. Are you familiar with that?
I know the name. That is okay, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Go ahead. It does.
Circle?
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
No, formaldehyde is a chemical we use in the mortuary to embalm bodies. No, it's a very dangerous chemical. You can't inhale it. And if you take a little bit like this and you show it on them. They can't see, they can't breathe at it. So
Okay.
I am not telling you.
Wait, I need to say this. No, I need to say this here so that we'll be responsible, right?
Right.
Because you just suggested how to survive in a
Right.
situation.
Right.
But there are lawyers who will say that because you have that, if you are not a mortician and you have it on you, do you know that we have a law that if you use a noxious substance against a person, we can jail you for life?
Really?
That is what we're trying to change.
What prevents use of pepper spray?
That's what prevents you from using pepper spray.
Wow, ridiculous.
It's beyond ridiculous, it's stupid, it's asinine, it's inane.
Wow.
And we've made the country, Trinidad and Tobago, is set up to fail. And women need to harness now. Now, women can't put this aside, you know. They can't pretend that it's over because we're going to get the next victim soon. We're going to, no matter what's going on, we've bred some demons in this country, and again, as a function of the failure of Trinidad and Tobago to function as a real nation, we have no social development and management policies. We put nincompoops as ministers and have no clue what they're talking about. I mean, if you go through the entire parliament for the last 5 governments, you realize we run this country like a joke. The people of Trinidad and Tobago now have to say to themselves, like you said, in that fight, so you say that, I listen to you talking, and in that moment, you be scared, but fight anyway. You see that? Trinidadians need to stand up for their whole self now. Not just wait to be a victim. You're being victimized every single day because we're not standing up. Because we taking the fear and they're pushing us and they have us tying your own hand and climbing in the trunk.
Exactly.
You're talking about people who pull up for you with zip ties. They were on the hunt. And it's like fishing. You drive, man, you take that one.
Yeah.
You just picked the wrong one. But imagine they didn't pick you. Imagine that picked some other meek woman who was overpowered by these fellas. She'd be a story today. And women need to understand now. Shout out, speak up, stand up, make a mess, make a noise. Tell them until it fixes. I'm serious. That needs to be. I am so proud of the 4 women in the candlelight movement. 4. They're talking like babies here, but they watch me. Alligator and crocodile. And Avanel and Jody. People has underestimated them at their peril. And I'm saying that they've shown a commitment to somebody else's safety and another person's cause and a better country, and they've given up so much life and time because it's not an easy road that we are dealing with here. And I am hoping that this conversation with you, I am hoping they get together with you. I hope they bring you and other powerful women on board. I will do anything in my power that is available to me to support a women's movement, a real women's movement, not a political women's movement, a real women's movement that identifies things that women need and make a list and stand together. And you have no idea how quickly you will get what you need. You will get it all. The day men realize, that women realize they have the power, the whole dynamic change.
I'd like to say something on that though, particularly as it relates to the 4 women on the candlelight team. And you said it earlier that women, they need to unite. One of the reasons why I think the synergies within this, the committee is so strong is because, as much as I knew Candace before and I met Jody through an interview last year, and I met Avanel from the 9 nights that we were outside Woodford Cafe. I think in very quick time, what did I say? Woodford Cafe. I keep saying that. Woodford Square. Woodford Cafe is one of our hubs, and for those who have not yet dropped off their petition, for those who have
Treat her before the show.
for those who have not yet dropped off your petitions and you're in Central, you can drop off your petitions at Woodford Cafe in Central. Nice segue, yes, nice say. But what I wanted to say is that, and I agree with Philip, 1000% that unity is the way to go. Like I said, I knew Candice before, I knew Jody, I knew of Avenel, but in very quick time, the four of us became, and we call each other sisters, but it's not a fakeness, it's not a frenemy thing. I think it's just four women who, from different walks of life, but, you know, we share a similar story, which is that we're empaths. The four of us, like, we feel other people's pain very strongly, and I think that united us. But as well, the four of us don't see each other as competition. We see the symbiotic relationship that the four of us have. We see what we bring, and we see that by standing together and doing something as sisters in this movement, that we are able to accomplish so much more. And it's something that I think I see happening in Trinidad and Tobago right now. I'm seeing more women being united, and I love it. I love the relationship that I have with Jody and Candice and Avenel. I love that, you know, there's this group on Facebook, the TNT Women Safety and Empowerment. I'm seeing the love.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 50,000 women in that one group, and
they
you're
got
seeing
they got 45 or 44K in like a month.
it happened around Andrea Barrett's death as well, and it's just women basically coming together, and we need more of that. Like women, we need to stop fighting each other.
You all need leadership. When I say leadership, you all need leadership with vision, and you all need to harness that because all of those people who came, they came for something. And I need to say something, though, and I need to say it again, right? You are advocating self-defense.
Yes.
But you're aware that some of the things you're talking about is legal. It's illegal.
It's illegal.
And that is the line you have to find. And I'll tell you the line you have to find. You can't tell women break the law. You have to tell women stand together and change the law.
Right.
That's what you have to do. The power of the women in this country, and I'll tell you when men will pay attention. And we laugh at it, until our mother joins. Then we can't have no more. Sister, wife, your daughter. All of a sudden, we can't have no more. Because this is now a movement dedicated to the protection, preservation, and safety of women. I'm glad that groups like that Felicia mentioned existed. Again, women could be and could take control of that part of our destiny, our national destiny. We shouldn't be fighting this hard to get that parliament to say women's safety matters.
Exactly.
We shouldn't be having to fight this hard. This Friday, because of COVID-19, we can't gather, so we're driving up. So this Friday, we're having the first ever drive-up sign-up. We're not stopping. And we keep saying, we're not stopping. If the country go into full lockdown, we will hand petition sheets over the wall. Starting in Diego Martin saying, get that to San Grande, wall by wall by wall. We will make it. We will stand together. I gave Andrea Barrett my word in death that I am not going to stop, no matter what. And what Inchan called the Andrea effect gave us an opportunity to cease enmity with people. We were having, all of us, we were having small squabbles and political struggles for no reason. And what we always needed was unity. I'm proud to say, Marcia Brave Boy, she won her case against the Express today, a defamation lawsuit where they tried to make it and she won. And one of your colleagues, one of your old colleagues, Shankar Videshi, was her lawyer, and good job, Shankar.
Shankar's amazing.
and Marcia and I, we were friends, and then politics got in the way, and I'm happy to say, and I credit Andrea with that too. And I don't want that to stop, and I don't want us to get distracted by all the other things that are trying to distract us. I am so proud of you. I am so happy that you saved your own life and that you live to tell the tale. And I hope that, I know you have your own organization, Victims in the Dark. You want to tell us about that? You tell us something about that, because I want to bring you on board ours, but I know.
Can I say one thing before
Sure.
she starts? Candy and I had a brief exchange since yesterday evening, and I think I might have entertained her a little bit because I'm a little bit weird sometimes. But one of the things that she said, and I guess I should leave it to her to an extent, but she listening to her, she is such a woman's advocate, and I mean, I guess that is where her causes come from. But she was excited by what we did, and she was like, how can I help, And it is always amazing when strong women like this, who are women's advocates in their own rights, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's rape crisis, whether it's any of those things or anything generally for women's empowerment, decide, oh my God, I love what you're doing and I want to help, because to me that is an endorsement from women who actually care about other women. So I can leave it to her now.
Oh, wow. So, all right. Well, the Victim in the Dark organization, topic to solve?
Yeah.
Yes, so the Victim in the Dark organization was established since 2014. All right, so what we do, we help women and children affected by domestic violence in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, currently, we have a list which consists of over 400 women who are affected by domestic violence. And someone donated land to our organization, and we would like to build a safe house to house these victims. All right. Now, at the safe house, we want to provide services like security, medical attention, legal advice, counseling, education, and job placement opportunities. So you're not just coming into the safe house and after a certain amount of time, you have to leave. So
This is what Victims in the Dark do.
this is what
I want to tell you something. I have a friend. She's my friend now about 30 years, Roxanne Palmis. 781-1200 is Roxanne's number. Roxanne has been saving people and saving women for as long as I've known her. She was a co-founder of the Jericho Project with me when we started to work with the orphans and the homeless and the disabled 30 years ago. Roxanne works with the victim and
Support
with
unit.
victim
Yeah.
and witness support unit. She everywhere. We've intervened and pulled people out of situations. Avanel is the next one. Avanel will go into if you tell her there are people hurting in Brazil, Avanel will find a way to get herself
She
to
will.
Brazil. She called her organization, Is There Not a Cause? And that's a perfect description for her. Because any cause that's people hurting. But I want to tell you something, do it with an abundance and respect your strength. It's not to be building an ex-safe house. There are people for that. I find we have too many safe houses. What we need is no more need for safe houses. We need our women to be protected. We need it so that it shouldn't be so easy for that man to beat that woman and 3 years pass and police now going to pick up with him. I get too many people calling me and telling me the restraining order ain't making no difference. When I call the police, they know him and they ain't come in and
right.
all this kind of drama. Again, there is something that women are missing. And the same way, there are some things men wouldn't tolerate. Women need to get there. Women need to claim their half of this world. I think they're entitled to more. But women need to at least claim their half. Stop waiting for people to give it to you. If women really worked together, and that'll be all. There'll always be some who not brave enough or don't care or whatever. But a significant and sufficient, 50,000 people, you see I have 50,000 people in a group, 50,000 women take one step back for 1 day. Just 1 day, send a message.
Right. I will disagree on some of what you said where the safe house is concerned. There isn't any safe house in Trinidad and Tobago like the one I am trying to implement, because the services that I would like to provide, no other safe house in Trinidad and Tobago.
So you have the
is providing
land
that.
now?
Yes.
So what you want to do is build the house?
Yes. Because
Okay.
we already have a team in place.
We have 100,000 members, and we could get you help to build your house. When I said just now that about safe houses, I wasn't knocking it. I'm just saying they don't have enough people like you.
Right.
You and what you know. You have a role to play. But I'm saying to you, if you want to build your safe house and you have your land for that, we will help you build your safe house. All of that. And all of the members who are watching, and especially all those foreign-based tradies, you know Felicia coming to y'all. So as soon as we get the plan from Candy,
Yes.
So as we get the plan from Candy, we have an idea. So a lot of us into that business, so we could assist and help you with that. So don't think I'm knocking. I've been working with all of these safe houses for a long time.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Why we have to bring another one then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we're building more safe houses, we're not improving. Things getting worse.
Yes, I agree. So what I think we need to do, as well as, well, apart from the safe houses, because that makes sense what you said, is to implement a program that would protect women as well as enable women to protect themselves.
I wanna respond to my producer who is telling me that we could take some calls. So my number is 682-2110. And those of you who want to call to talk to Candy, you could feel free to call in or call in to talk to anybody else. If you want to call and tell me how sexy we all look tonight, my hair is looking nice. Put up my hair looking good these days, you agree? No?
I plead the fifth.
682-2110. No, because we come to do these shows and I realize we try to be something that we're not, and I think that what we need to be are ourselves. To get Trinidadians back to being Trinidadians again, where we keep talking about the old time days where my mango tree there, all my extra mangoes on my front wall for whoever to pass could pick up and take. We need to get back to there. We need to get back to a country where if you have too much of something, somebody else gets in. We're not that. We're not looking out for each other. So we put in raw tie, and I've always said, people ask me, what's your vision for a better Trinidad and Tobago? When will you think Trinidad is better? I say, when we could cut out our burglar bars and throw them in the sea. When we don't need that. You look like you have something.
Well,
You gonna say
I
something?
agree with cutting it out, but
She was not going to agree with throwing it in the sea.
you're literally the sea though.
I read that across her face. Why the sea?
One,
You got in a call.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
You and your producer need to.
Hello, good evening, you're live. All right, just checking. 682-2110. Those of you now remember there is a delay, so if you call, listen to us on the phone and not wherever you're watching us on, and tell us where you're calling from when you're calling.
But you see, one thing I think that we really need to focus on and realize, I mean, not in terms of the petition, but outside of that, and I've said that a few times on different platforms, is if we want to get back to there, we need to look at the family unit, and we need to look at what we are doing to break our boys. Things like, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, like toxic masculinity and all those things that we need to address so that we bring up better boys, boys who have respect, boys who are not going to rape somebody, boys who are not going to kidnap somebody, boys who are not going
emotionally
to
intelligent.
abuse,
But society don't want to have that conversation.
Well, you see, and that's the problem.
Society keeps
But
ducking that conversation.
go ahead.
No, finish your
But
point.
I think now is the time that we are actually having those conversations, and now we are talking about things that, sorry to say, before.
I went on an interview with Paul Richards, who is a senator, when a TV station was closing down. I was the last interview. And I told him our hypersexualized culture is driving a lot of problems. He made me apologize to Carnival. We're not ready. I'm telling you, we're not ready.
And when Ashanti happened, I was beyond livid. And one of my posts on Facebook actually was exactly that. And it was me having some sort of a rant and saying, what are we doing to bring up our men like this? And the first thing I said unpopular opinion, but Carnival is breaking down our society. And I've never said about this.
It's destroying it. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hey, good night, Mr. Alexander, Philip, all the members of the panel, Candice, Felicia, and the boss lady herself, Candy. Candy and I spoke a couple days ago. I just had to reach out to this lady to give her some more courage, because that is what this country is lacking. Women are the anchor points for this country. You're quite right when you were describing them as, we are all existing here because of them. And what that lady Candy represents is what we need on the front line.
I want to ask you a question. You involved in any way in any of the organizations yet?
Just by standards doing support, looking on, and
You're ready
I'm
you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get involved, because to do what she needs to do, she needs help from people like you who agree and support her.
well, I am always there. I'm willing to do some talking and taking some action alongside people who are really interested in
This
in
number you
putting-
have, that you just called me on, that's my phone number. When the show is over, WhatsApp me your contact information. I'll make sure I give it to Felicia and Candy, and one of these ladies will bring you on board, yeah?
Roger that.
Thanks for the call.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and what I was saying was that when you have, and I'll tell you when it dawned on me. A couple of years ago, I was in Belmont while Kiddies Carnival was passing through. And so, you have to stop. And I was just looking at these little children. And 6, 7, 8 years old, and typical Trini Carnival behavior, but they are children. So the little girls winding up on the little boys, they are literally simulating sex. And I'm like, this is what is wrong with this country. Because
And adults standing by watching it happening and
watching,
cheering
they
them on.
either cheering on
Yeah,
or they
that's
see
cool.
nothing wrong
Trinidad, I
with
want
that.
to
See
let you
nothing,
know,
yeah.
we're going to run this show and the other guests for as long as it takes tonight. Hello, good evening, Eli.
You love to track me.
Good evening, Philip. How are you doing?
Trying to keep smiling. How you going, my brother?
I'm doing fine. As you know, you probably recognize my number, and you realize I'm calling you all the way from British Columbia, Canada.
Again, yes. Welcome.
Thanks. Well, first of all, like every time I call you, I always kind of congratulate you on what you've been doing. So, surprisingly, I haven't actually gotten a chance to tell you about the election results. I know BEP did not get a seat and stuff like that. But, I mean, you guys did an excellent job on the campaign. As you and I had discussed, you kept the campaign clean. You focused on the issues, but, the agenda was different for other parties. But I'm glad to see that you guys are on this candlelight movement. I've already gotten in touch with Anthony Sinana in Toronto, and he sent me the link to get the signatures out here in British Columbia. Unfortunately, because of work constraints and the fact that I can't go out there much, we don't have lockdowns per se here in British Columbia, but it is, of course, everything is restricted. So in keeping with the COVID protocol, I'm more or less staying home. But I did promise Anthony that I'll try to get 100 signatures, which I probably wouldn't get in time for when you present the petitions to Parliament. So as Felicia is there right now, and she has my number as well too on WhatsApp, perhaps she can send me a link where I can make a direct deposit, so I can probably pay $1 for all the signatures that I had promised to get, and send a direct transfer of funds, because I know
we want that, but we have a little extension, and Felicia was just mentioning, and maybe you do know that we've extended it by another month, so we have until May 5th?
May 9th.
May 9th.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
so you can do both.
I'll do both, because I
know you
have
will.
the funds. I know I have the funds right now available, and I figured, they say charity begins at home.
Indeed.
And I will send the money to you guys. So if Felicia, she has me on WhatsApp. She may know me as well too. I met her a couple of years back at something in Toronto, but she was kind of busy, and she was actually looking really good that night, and she took a little style of me. So
She must have style. She must have everywhere. You're in good company.
Anyway,
You're in good company.
she has me on contact, and she also has me on Facebook, on a Facebook thread. So she can also send me the link where I can make the donation directly to you guys. I still actually, and again, I had discussed this with her, I still have a recurrent payment to PEP, which Felicia said you all receive, but that actually goes to help for administrative things like pens, papers, stuff like that. So it does go to help in some way. So I'm glad that you got an extension on the petition, and I will do my best to see what I can do out here now.
Right, thanks a lot, my brother. Thanks a lot for making the call, and thanks a lot for all that you do. It does not go unnoticed. People like you are what hold us up and keep us going forward. Thank you very, very much.
Well, I honestly wish I could do more, but also to be here in the industry that I am in, we've been hit the hardest, right?
So you're grounded?
Well, I'm not grounded. It's just that I've been downgraded. So from one position to the next, I've been downgraded, and of course the flying has been a lot significantly less than it was last year or year before.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
All right, you take care, and all the best to you guys, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, we're gonna take a short break. We're gonna pay some bills. When we come back, we still have Candy here for as long as we could, and we're gonna be taking some more calls. We're gonna work everything in. No stress. When we come back from this break.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factory's facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
Welcome to Movers in Trinidad Limited, Trinidad's #1 company for professional relocation and transport services. We operate 24/7, anywhere nationwide. Don't lift a finger, or Movers will ensure your move is smooth and hassle-free. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Items are properly packaged and well secured during transit. Call or WhatsApp 790-MOVE to book. That's 790-6683. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Movers in Trinidad.
And we're back. And before we do anything else, before we get back into it, again, I want to thank Satish Ramsaran, the head of our media, responsible for all of this. His team, tonight he's ably assisted by Joseph and Jason, two very good guys. And we pass you on now to Felicia Holder to take care of more of the housekeeping.
All right, so for those who should be following the Candlelight Movement, you should know that tomorrow we are having an event at our current headquarters, which is on 14 to 17 Victoria Square, Park Street, Port of Spain. We are having a drive and sign event. We're calling it Drive Up, Sign Up. So for those persons who have yet to sign the petition, you can come tomorrow, literally pull curbside. From 6 p.m. we are going to have hand sanitizer available for those who would like to sanitize their hands before they sign or after they sign, etc. So we will be adhering to COVID-19 regulations. And yes, for those asking, we do have written approval from the Commissioner of Police to have this event. We did assure him that we are going to keep it under 10 persons at any given time in the drive up sign up event. So for those who could not make it to the office or could not make it to any of the events that we had in the past month, please take this opportunity to come and sign the petition. Of course, you can also come and get your petition forms and return them. And on the topic of returning your petition forms, we have counted, I believe, just over 40,000, maybe close to 50,000 by now, returned petition forms. And that is just 10% of what we would have actually sent out, because on the first night, I believe we actually gave persons one sheet and we told them to make their own copies. So while we have extended the deadline to May 9th, we are still asking persons who have completed the forms to please return them as soon as possible so we can add to that count. We have the media calling us every couple of days asking for a count, so we'd like to give them as accurate numbers as possible. So that means that you guys would need to start returning your petition forms as soon as possible. We have hubs set up across Trinidad and Tobago, North, East, South, Central Tobago. It is pinned to the Candlelight Movement page, so those highlighted in red are the areas that you can go and return forms. Of course, you can also look for the hubs that you can go and collect additional petition forms. And yes, like I said, tomorrow you can get new forms if you want. People have been asking me about Candlelight t-shirts. We were not going to reorder, but due to popular demand, back by popular demand, we have reordered new shirts. Black is back in stock, medium, large, small for those who are asking. So definitely you can place your orders. You can call 471-2888 or send a WhatsApp message. That's easier if you just send your sizes over WhatsApp, so that way we can package it out for you for those who would like to come and pick it up tomorrow. Or for those who would like to have it shipped to them, you just send us your address and you pay a small shipping fee of like $25 and we'll get that to you. So that is it for housekeeping.
Yeah, I just want to underscore, we have somebody on hold from New York and we're going to bring them in now. We're going back to Candice and Candy because I want to hear, you need to continue that conversation. But we are doing an aggressive sign the petition drive this coming week. We're not stopping you from continuing to get like Andrea's aunt and uncle who got 5,000 signatures. Brilliant job on their part. So you can continue, but all of the sign sheets that you have, we want those. We want to start giving a running daily count and updating it on our page so that everybody's aware where we're at and where we're trying to go. We're aiming for that 250,000. I'm serious. Also, I think we need to put out a reward for somebody to give us information on 2 stabbed up males that had to come and seek medical attention. So we're going to talk more about that because I really would like to see justice done here. The attempted kidnapping of Candy Hospitalis, that's not an issue that we're going to let go away. She's now somebody we know, and when we meet people, we kind of claim them and own them.
Yeah.
We have somebody from New York City here now. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. You're live.
Yes, I'm live. Yes. First of all, good night to the panel. I'm Deanne Benjamin. Candy would know me. I just want to say how proud I am of her for doing such a great job and, being an underlying person to just, pop up front to help women to defend themselves and, taking women in that can, that she can help. So Candy, I am proud of you. I love you. We love you. You know the little group we have going on up here, and we're doing everything in our power to help you. And Mr. Alexander, thank you for putting it out there that you will help her build this safe house, because this is what she wants. This is her dream. Okay? Candy, love you, baby. Follow your dream.
Love you too, love.
Okay?
Thank you for that.
What's the young lady's name there? The one in pink?
Felicia Holder.
Felicia Holder. Hi, Felicia. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I am the lady who, you came on my Zoom. You came
Yes,
on my Zoom.
yes.
How are you?
I am good. I was looking for your number. I swear, just like a few days ago, I was trying to find it back in my phone. I lost a whole lot of my contacts. I am going to get your number from Philip. Yes.
So you have her number. Her number is 7694590. So you can text it back, or
I have her number.
Send me a message, please, so I can save your number again.
And message
Thank
me.
you so much.
And message me as a WhatsApp, and let us start to raise funds to help Candy start to build her safe house. Yeah.
Listen, I am doing everything here in my power, and I told Candy, and I'm gonna keep telling her I got her back. Even if everybody else drop off, I am on board with her. So she knows she got my support. Yes, she has my support. Alright, so you guys have a good night. Love you, Candy.
She loves you.
Love all the way from New York. But yes, Candice was
You can't drop that.
Yeah, no, and it is something that I'm passionate about, because I do feel like, okay, what we're doing, we're asking the parliamentarians to do things to make us safer. But I mean, the laws could only go so far. We have to look at what we are doing as a society to bring up boys that have no respect for women, who see women as objects. And if you have little boys,
the society doing that.
Yeah.
The government owns Clico. Clico owns Angostura. Solera is putting out all of these ads with very almost naked women to sell alcohol. Every day now, it is a new, disgustingly inappropriate. I don't know how women don't care. Go and check. I'm sure they must be on a webpage somewhere. The White Oak ads, when it rains, you pour, or when it pours, you rain, or some stupidness. I mean, it sends a message. I am a man, all the men. We are told by society that this, you see that conversation you're trying to have? That conversation has to be had.
Yeah.
Because mothers don't know how to raise boys in this society, because they go out to school and society tells them everything about it is nonsense. This is how it really is. And it changes.
Or mothers don't try to tell them anything differently, because part of what we have accepted as our culture is what I think fundamentally breaks us as a society. Because what part of the world do you go in that you are told the kinds of things that we are told walking down the street? I have never been to any country in the world where men have told me the things that I've had Trinidadian men and little boys tell me, things I cannot even repeat here, because you just walking back to your office in your like loose fitting clothes and they're telling you what they want to do to you explicitly. And I mean, we have to look at where we are part of the problem, because people want to say, oh, Trinidad this and Trinidad that, and why we have this rape culture, but you don't want to examine yourself. People love Carnival because they hold on to its we culture and it's what makes Trinidad this great place, but without looking at what is so detrimental. I'm not saying completely do away with Carnival. I mean,
Mother and daughter working for the Yankee dollar. You go back to there. Mother and daughter working for the Yankee dollar, drinking rum and Coca-Cola. That was the biggest calypso to ever leave Trinidad and Tobago. That was a calypso, drinking rum and Coca-Cola, going down Point Cumana, and it's talking about how when the Yankee was here, all our women prostituted themselves. That was part
I've never heard that.
You ever drinking rum and Coca-Cola? This guy sang it, an American, and the Andrews sisters, I believe, they sang a version of it. It was the biggest calypso years ago. It was World War II time. But I'm just saying, we've imprinted in our minds a second-class citizen woman.
Yeah.
We've imprinted that.
We are a fundamentally chauvinistic and misogynistic society. When you hear somebody so, I mean, literally kicking she back door, mash up she speaker box. I mean, those things, when you hear that as a woman, how you whining up on a man to that? I cringe, and I'm not a prude. You know I'm not a prude. I will say things, and you know, like, I mean, I'm not this little
You don't have to
choir
defend
girl,
not being a prude.
but I mean, when you step away from it, when you step away from the liming and the drinking and the having fun and the kind of hedonistic culture we have, because a lot of people, I mean, I've had this conversation before, and people are like, why are you knocking carnival? Why are you knocking carnival? I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in a household where both my parents played carnival. The only year my mother didn't play carnival was when she was pregnant with my little sister. And that was when things were wholesome. That's when you could wear a normal looking mask costume, and you wine and you chipped in Barbarossa and whatever they were doing then, and you know, it was way more wholesome than what you have now. And you can't expect that little boys are seeing this before they know themselves. They are being sexualized, and then they're walking around, and suddenly by some miracle they'll have respect for women. How do you expect that to happen?
I can tell you as a man that there is an awakening when a man realizes that there are more tools in an emotional toolkit than happy and angry. That's all men are allowed. When in your home, if you cry as a boy, you are belittled, you are shamed. Yeah. And there's nothing worse to a man than to attack that. When you shame a man, and that's part of the conversation that we have to have.
Yeah.
Because we're bringing men up into thinking that, oh, you're a little girl.
Don't cry, want something to cry for.
Exactly.
No, I understand that, but the violence, we will tolerate the violence. But telling a boy he's a girl
if he
because
cries,
he cries. He won't cry again.
Right. So his emotion then becomes anger. So he's happy and angry because he doesn't know how to feel anything else.
He can't express hurt.
Yeah.
So men kill women because men can't say, this is hurting.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. We run through an entire escalation. There are people on death row. There are people in jail. We met a little boy.
Yeah.
Whose father killed his mother. Men in Trinidad don't know how to break up. They don't know how to break up. They don't know how to see the woman that you were with another man.
Yeah.
They don't know how to, and I'm telling you, as a man, you have to do so much work on yourself to get to a place where you could be awake and conscious enough to start to embrace that there is a whole toolkit of emotions that you're entitled to.
I was speaking to a lady that I know this weekend, and she said she was really interested in helping with the petition and that kind of thing. An older lady, maybe in her 60s, and she was telling me about how bad her marriage is, and you know, but at her age she don't want to leave and whatnot. And the conversation then became that she was like, you know, he says that he loves me, but he doesn't know how to show it. So he is abusive because he doesn't even know how to translate what he's feeling into love. And I mean, when you think of what we do to little boys, as you've rightly said,
He must have grown up in a house.
Yeah.
But that's how daddy loved mommy.
When you hear
and
these
then mommy
stories,
telling the children that daddy just have a funny way of showing that he loves us.
Yeah, normalizing abuse.
Yeah, but you're teaching children who don't have another frame of reference.
Yes.
This is love.
Yeah.
There are women out there who tell you, if he ain't beating me, he don't love me.
Yeah.
We normalize a violent culture.
I know that you would have seen my article, right? And something you said, and it reminded me of something with my ex. My ex used to tell me, if you left me, he's like, if you leave me, your body would be found in Mosquito Creek. And it was so, I mean, there's a lot of
location.
Yeah, Mosquito Creek. But then, I mean, this is how weird the psychological abuse became, because he normalized it so much that he would say randomly Mosquito Creek, and we would both start laughing. Like, it became a running joke that he was going to kill me and leave me in Mosquito Creek. you know, but that was how much he loved me, because if I left him, that's what he was going to do. I mean, I'm laughing, and sorry, that's how I deal with things. And I don't mean to make light of the situation, but that goes to show how
No, that's not a light situation.
normalize.
And anybody that didn't read your
Yeah.
article doesn't know how it
Yeah.
ended. So they will think that this is something funny to you, and I can't leave that.
Yeah,
message.
no, I appreciate that. And I mean, I have since moved past that abusive relationship. There's an article, because I came out with my story last year when Rishma Kanchan was beheaded. And really just because I felt like you need to change the face of domestic violence, because I'm an attorney, for those who don't know, and I've been an attorney for quite some time, and I was in that situation after having been an attorney for many years. So it's not to say it is what you think about when you think of domestic violence. And when Rishma Kanchan was beheaded, I really felt that I needed to say something, because there are too many women who are in these situations, and we are shamed as a society because we are such a chauvinistic, misogynistic society, and women do it as well. You are shamed because not the man who is abusing you, but why did you stay in the relationship? And if you've been in a toxic relationship, or a relationship where there was domestic violence in any way, whether it is emotional or physical, only you could understand why women stay in those situations. And you know, yesterday I was actually speaking to one of the ladies we've met since we've been doing this, and she has another domestic violence sort of support group that she does, because she's also a victim of domestic violence. And she was actually telling me that, was it you? No, sorry, I spoke to so many women yesterday, and she was telling me that Rishma Kanchan came to her and her organization. Right.
It was my organization.
And you want to finish the story? Sorry, since I started.
No, jump right in one time.
Yes, she, along with a lot of women, would contact us for help on a daily basis. But because we, at the point in time, exhausted our resources, we weren't able to help her. And then we read the papers and we saw that, her husband or her ex murdered her and then tried to kill himself. This situation of domestic violence, I mean, because I was a victim of domestic violence, and I had no family support, and at the point in time I have education, but I wasn't allowed to work, so it was like a jail sentence, stalking you. You can't go here, you can't dress a certain way, you can't have friends, they isolate you.
I wanna just put something in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because as Candace said, and I want to use her words, if we don't change the way we're having this conversation, we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
These men, I'm not making excuses, it's a violent culture.
Yeah.
But these men have been brought up to be this. A lot of men who are acting out this way are acting that way because they don't know any other way. And in their minds, in Trinidad they have something, it's not the horn that is bothering, it's the echo. You know what I say?
Yeah.
It's hearing other people talk about it.
Yes.
That is the culture that we have. That anything that a man thinks will shame him. There's this guy called John Bradshaw, and he has a lot of YouTube videos. And he came to psychology through trauma. He came to being this person that did so much work for so many people through being a broken soul. And he has this notion of the stunted child. And if you ever deal with a man, I want to tell you something, as a man who did 10 years of counseling and therapy, I try to understand me. I try to understand how we, men and me, think and arrive at the and John Bradshaw, his theory is so spot on in the development of a man. There is a moment of injury that stunts him, and he grows up to be a big full man.
And that child.
But a broken
and
child.
remains.
But
He's stuck in the same place.
he reacts
Yeah.
as the child
Yes.
of that age, and you would see it when you're dealing with people who have that damage. When you realize, so I'm saying to the woman who is the victim of the abuse, the abuser is a victim too. We in a society that have a ridiculous cycle, and those two, him beating her, she taking links, now have children for him. She don't want to mash up that family, so she finding a way to explain to her children, don't take daddy still love us.
I think that there's so many things that as a society we have to unlearn. And just this morning I was thinking about like nowadays, and I remember, I think about you and the kind of the way that you're raising Bella, and you know, wanting her to be a strong woman, and if she doesn't want to do something, not forcing her to do it. I think about back in like when I was growing up, like if an adult came to hug you and you didn't want to hug that adult, sometimes you were forced to hug that adult.
Because it was polite.
It was polite, and I remember parents and aunties and uncles saying you're being rude by not hugging this one.
No.
Yeah, exactly. I remember reaching for a kiss about, and she's like, not today. And I love that. I love that children. I love that you're raising her like that, and I want to see more parents raising the children like that. You know, to understand that you may be 2, you may be 3, but you're allowed personal space. You're allowed to have boundaries, because part of the reasons why girls allow things to happen to them is because they did not have boundaries like that when they were growing up, and from young they were told that you're not allowed to have boundaries. And the conversation that we need to have is that we need to be changing these things. We need to be changing how we, you know, bring up our young girls. We need to be changing how we bring up our young boys. You spoke about boys passing and catcalling. I'll never forget a little 7-year-old boy on a bike pulling up to me and saying, yeah baby. And I'm like, what are you saying? You're like a child. And I'm thinking, what kind of household are you growing up in where you think it is okay to speak to a grown woman on the streets in that kind of way? Obviously there's something wrong with the way that you're being.
Culture. Because for a boy to fit in, he has to carry on like how the rest of the boys carried on. So we're not going out there and saying, guys, my parents told me it differently. We're abandoning what my parents tell me, and I want to fit in because that's, you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Your organization, Victims in the Dark, how long have you been in operation?
Since 2014. So that is 7 years now.
You getting results?
So far, yes. Because we don't just deal with the battered women and children. We do with counseling and crisis interventions, you know. So we deal with a variety of things. So far, we're making some progress, right? The shelter is something new for us, right? Because initially when we started the organization, it was to do the shelter in 2014, but we didn't do that. So we focused on, you know, helping underprivileged homes, like with groceries and clothes and, you know, that kind of thing, helping people build the houses and all of that, you know. So we just branch off into actually focusing
There's
on
so much
what
need. There's so much need out there. You start off doing one thing, and then people come to you. I feel it because I mean, we started Jericho Project just for orphans. We end up dealing with homeless people and disabled people. I mean, they have so much need out there. But I wanted to ask you a question. It slipped my mind to ask you just now. How are you dealing with the trauma of what you went through?
Actually, how to say this? I am accustomed dealing with trauma. Trauma is not new to me. So I learn how to adapt to it and adjust to the situation and move forward. Because trauma is not new. So when you're used to something, it's easier for you to overcome it. If that makes sense.
It does, but it's sad.
But it is sad, and I also, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, of course, but and maybe for all you know, you talking about it like this is therapeutic for you as well. But you know, I know sometimes in being strong and you know, and having to just pick up and move on like we have to do so many times, you can't possibly overlook how it may be impacting you on a deeper level. So just as a woman to a woman, I mean, like I say, if you really feel unbothered by it, of course, I can't push you or press you, but I think it should not be something that you just get over. I mean,
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I will have feelings. I mean,
Yeah.
you're driving somewhere, you're looking to see if, okay, the car behind you following you, why this car driving so slow, why this car parking.
Yeah.
So it's like PTSD, right?
so you have it,
She's living in
obviously.
a war zone. And that,
Trinidad is a
It-
whole
Trinidad is a
lot.
war zone.
It feels like that. She
You're
just
not-
drive-
You're not realizing in this conversation what she said tonight is if she didn't know the thing she knew, she might have been another.
Victim,
She
a
would have.
statistic.
She would
A
have.
statistic.
Hands down
And
from what she said, she would have been. And it's sad. And I mean, this is kind of to underscore what Felicia had said. It's so sad. And I felt the same way listening to her because she was there giving advice, obviously great advice because she survived her ordeal. But why is it we have to tell women this is what to do,
It is-
or this is prepare yourself if somebody comes to kidnap you? Like, how is that? Like, that is our normal.
Yeah.
Because that is what is in the mind of. Literally, I cannot think that there's any one woman in this country who feels safe.
And that's an important point, Candace. I want to tell you this. Women are walking around with a false sense of security.
If they are.
No, but women are walking around thinking that if you in West Mall and a van pull up and 3 men jump out and grab you and drag you in the van and you start to scream, that people will rush over and defend you.
I don't think.
Disabuse
I don't,
yourself of that belief.
I don't have that belief. I think we are now conditioned. I mean, there are a few people who are like, okay, well, whatever happens, happens. So maybe they have some weird sense of security that I don't know where it comes from because it's not logical given our society. But to me, I'm always, and I was robbed at gunpoint, as you know, in 2017, gun stuck to my chest, relieved of my cell phone by this little boy who probably was between 8 and 12. And yeah, milk in his cheeks, like if you see his eyes, he was so innocent, Jesus Christ, and he just had with his gun. And I think, like, to me that was obviously an awakening because my family described me as reckless, but I refused to live my life in fear. I'm not going to walk through Laventille or see lots, but I would still do things that like some of the members of my family would not have done. And since then, it has been that you look over your shoulder constantly. You have this sort of a paranoia, and obviously with everything that has happened with Ashanti and Adria and countless other women and Candy, you know it is a reality of your daily life. And Candy's story is one of the stories that we have actually heard. There are so many women that get robbed at knife point or gun point because
While she was speaking, I was thinking of Andrea. And I was thinking because she was giving us a ball by ball.
yeah.
Of the moment it dawned on her that this wasn't just somebody randomly following, just is something is about to happen. And for a minute I was thinking of that poor girl. And the moment it dawned on her that
Yeah.
this
This
is
was gonna
going
happen.
to go a different way.
Yeah. And Ashanti.
Well, anybody,
Right.
insert any name here.
Yeah.
But I mean, the most recent is Andrea. And it's always the one she's gonna be the one
Yeah.
I go to. But because she's the one I know the most about her
Yeah.
story. I don't know enough about Asami's story. I don't know enough about Shannon's story. I don't know enough about Ashanti's story. But I know a lot about Andrea's story now. And at some point, she had to start trying to manage the situation. You're trying to negotiate your way back to where you're trying to go. You're trying to go home.
I sat down and I spoke to a victim in an interview with somebody who is held up at gunpoint and taken to a certain place and robbed, etc. And in hearing her describe exactly what she went through some years ago, and you know, she literally gave a ball by ball. She gave a ball by ball from where the fellas were scoping her out at her workplace and what happened after, and when she jumped in the car, and when the fellas started to act sketchy, and who was saying what and at which point, and all these little minute details, and you know, the moments leading up to what you think is going to be literally the end of your life. Yeah. That's why, like, when it comes to our petition, for me, I mean, we are empaths, right? So for us, it's only natural to never want this to happen to any other woman. And I can't fathom that there are women who will have a disagreement with what we are doing, because as a woman, if you can't empathize with what happened to Andrea and Ashanti and their family and their loved ones, this could be you. And why is it that you will not do everything in your power as a woman who's unsafe in this country to support, whether you dislike a personality, whether you think, you know, politics, whatever.
All of that is excuses.
And that's what I don't understand, because how it is that as a society there are people that can't put aside any single thing that they feel, any sort of negativity, just to put your signature on something that
but they need to go
will protect you.
Candice, they need to go beyond the signature, be lazy and be irresponsible.
Right.
And some of us will go and sign that, okay, right, I signed it, right? But they need to say, what else can I do? When people realize, wait a minute, there's a group of people outside here trying to raise this issue and push it forward and get something. Somebody said, finally, people that have something like an answer. It may not be the best answer. There are people I'm sure could come up with better answers, but this is something to do. Something is being done. Why not? You tell me, build a house, I want to help you build a house. Why aren't people driven to say, let us be part of our own rescue? Right. Let us get on board and help. How do I help? How can I come and hold a clipboard? Can I come and help people sign? And a lot of people did that. Yeah? I want to tell you, you mentioned something just now. A woman named Sav Petra posted something, and I had to copy what she posted and share it with her name. But she said, this was early in the thing, this was February 12th, she posted this. People are fighting about who gets the better send-off and whose death brings about more vigils, protests, change. Imagine that. Tell me this. Who is losing? To me, if any tragedy at all united persons of this country to fight against crime, violence, and injustice, or in the least, just encourage them to be more empathetic towards their fellow citizens, then no one, no race, no gender loses. What is this competition about?
But Philip, that, you see what she said there? What I have learned in the last almost 2 months is that empathy is not something that you could teach people. Compassion is not something you could explain to people. If you could look, let's just say, at Ashanti's face or Andrea's face or their families, Candice Riley or Randolph Barrett, and your heart, Jesus Christ, you're gonna start a girl right there, so let's not really say his name. But if you could not feel some degree of heartbreak and some degree of outrage as to what these women have gone through and what the family, right? Something, feel something and do something about it.
Let's go back to the brokenness you're talking about. Maybe we bring it up, just everybody broken. People just lowering their head and just going forward and just trying to get through the day, and we stop feeling. Because
maybe we are so traumatized by the countless murders and the countless of incidents like this.
We get like Candy and you say, I just deal with it and move on. Candy,
no, but she's still doing something about
she is,
it.
But I find it so sad. I wish I could pick you up and take you to a place where you're safe, where you could exhale that.
Not Trinidad,
you
sorry.
I think the worst feeling in the world is when you think you're going to die. You know, as you was trying to get out there, when you speak about Andrea Barrett, you could imagine her last moments.
I don't want to imagine her last moments.
And think about
tried to strangle Ashanti. And when they couldn't get that to happen, is when they stab her. Imagine being in that situation and trying to negotiate to save your own life.
At some
and
point,
you know you're going to die.
At some point, you just
They
let
won't
it
be
happen.
there.
At some point, you see these men.
The human instinct is to survive. The human instinct is to survive. And there are people in this country who enable wrongdoing. And all of that should be an issue for a conversation. And if we try to deal with all of those issues, we'll be here for weeks talking. But I think that we have to bring it back to the petition.
Yes.
This petition that we're doing, this petition is a way of giving people something to, but to involve themselves in. I'm part of it now. I've signed it. I'm a part of it. Come up on next level.
Yeah.
Come up on next level. You've signed this petition.
Don't just sign and move on.
But at the very least sign.
At the very least sign. But find a women's group. Go to, you don't want to come to Candlelight Woman, go to Victims in the Dark. What's your number? You giving a number?
Yeah.
Satish, you have a ticket tape tonight? Read your number into the phone that you want people to call if they want to call and support. This is not just for people who need help. This is for people who want to help. Help her. Help her. Find organizations that are doing something and help them. You can't find somebody that you want to help. Start an organization. Create something. The more people banging that drum is the bigger the noise we're making. At some point, those in the parliament wouldn't be able to talk over the noise. It's time for them to hear us. Get involved. Find an organization and support it. Let us work together and fix one thing. Now we fix one thing in this country outside of government. We fix one thing. Give them the number you want to talk.
Okay, so my contact is 340-0127.
You got that, Satish? 340
0127.
347 or 340?
340-0127.
340-0127.
I was about to say something as well.
The petition is a
And it's about the petition, yes. It was to say, for those who want to get involved, and he said to sign it. I also want to emphasize the effort that it would take for some people to sign it. I know the petition may not turn up on your doorstep package and just waiting for your signature. It may involve you crossing the street and going to the nearest location to you, but we are asking you to please make that effort. Somebody messaged me today and asked if I could send the petition to his workplace, and I said no, we can't, but I can send you to the nearest location to you, which is less than 5 minutes away. And I tell people, for a lot of you whose only taste of democracy, if you can even call it that, is dipping your finger in ink every 5 and 4 years, but those who have never been involved in anything like activism or groups like yours, women's groups, victims groups, saving people, helping people, but those of you who this may be your only thing you ever do in terms of, you know, standing up for or united against something, please, I ask you, make that extra effort. It is probably going to take that little extra effort, but we need it. We need people not just, you know, saying yes, I support you, but physically making that effort to actually support us. The people who are clamoring overseas right now, I mean, we have so many people, and every day I get messages. I'm in Florida, I'm in Arizona, I'm in Canada, I'm all over the world, but I want to sign. For those of you who are making that extra effort, we really appreciate it. And you know, now that we have extended the deadline, I definitely, you know, would love to see your petitions coming in. And those of you here locally, please follow suit and you know, follow the example of, you know, that they're setting overseas, and make that extra effort to get your signature on that candlelight petition.
As well, let me just say something. There are a lot of people on social media who have a large following, like myself. They have a large platform that I think should get involved in the candlelight movement and, you know, encourage their following to sign. You know, because I mean, if you have a large following and you could just go up on your live and talk nonsense, if this is something to benefit the entire population, because everybody have mothers, we have sisters, we have daughters, and we want to see change, we want to be able to have something to defend ourselves, we want to be able to walk comfortable, to live comfortable, you know, we could utilize what we have our social media platform and encourage people to sign, and I mean that's a step as well. Yeah.
We say find the petition and sign the petition. You know what's always funny is every time somebody sends me, Philip, we are in Arima. This is our place. People can sign by us. Put it up. So I put it up, Arima, and the first comment, we're in South. So then I come and put up one, this is in South. First comment, we're in, yeah, but Chinese, I guess they are the best people in the world, but they can be the most frustrating, lazy, and irresponsible. And that's why the country is as it is. Because we've accepted, all these are words normalized. We've normalized this insanity. We normalize living in a country where people from the top down know that there's an $11 billion a year drug trade moving through this country. We accept that as normal, as part of Trinidad and Tobago. We normalize corruption. We say, all right, get thief and thief, but do some work too now. We normalize the worst of things. We normalized and accepted is not what you know is who. Pull a string, pay a bribe. We teach our children that. We've brought us into a place where we don't even understand the implications of some of the things we're doing. But we need to take a short break to pay some bills, and we will bring this to a wrap and a close when we come back.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factory's facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
Sitting on a panel with these many strong women, being part of organizations like the Jericho Project, that was me and 10 women, and being involved in My Daily Soup, that is me, my son, Kaifa, and then all of these strong women who would gather resources and make the soup, and every time that it is something powerful and positive, is always women. Women take so much responsibility, and I really want to give a big shout out, and I want to encourage women: unfetter yourselves, demand your space, take your space, claim your space. Men need to be taught how to relate to you. We're not going to stumble upon that ourselves. You need to get involved in the conversation. We need to have that conversation.
But I think amazingly in the last few months we've been having conversations that I have never seen happening in my lifetime. We've had, as you know, rape victims coming, holding a mic, sometimes tearfully saying what happened to them. We've had, victims of any sort of crime that could be committed against a woman coming out and talking about it in a society where formerly, you know, the thinking was you don't talk about anything. And I mean, if it's one thing that we are all seeing a movement towards, it is women empowerment. And I mean, I think the term feminism could always be interpreted a little bit in a funny way, and I never considered myself a feminist, to be honest, but I am all about empowering women, because when you see how much strength some of these women have given their situations. I mean, I was mentioning that I was having a conversation with a mother today, and you know, I mean the things that women go through, the messages we get about domestic violence on a daily basis. I mean, some of the things will make your jaw drop, and the women are still standing, and they're still, you know, they're still fighting, they're still trying to hold on for their families, and you know, there has been such a sort of a gathering of unity and love and positivity from so many strong women who have themselves been victims. And I mean, I feel like all of us here who are part of this committee and who have the groups like what Candy has and Kamika and I mean the countless women we've met recently, they have all been victims themselves in some way. And they've come out of their situations and they have decided that, you know what, I'm going to impact women. I'm going to do as much as I could do for whatever cause is dear to them. And I think that's amazing that you come out of a struggle and then you want to help anyone else you see in that struggle.
And then there are the men, brothers, fathers, sons, lovers, who've stepped up, been some good guys. Good guys who stepped up for all of it. I remember the vigil. Those 9 nights. The first night was easy, the second night was easy, the third night was easy, but the fourth night, it was tedious, it was tiring, we were exhausted because we had to do this and we had to continue. And these guys and people that would just come out, and I want to say, I talk about women taking one step back, and you know what, guys? We could too, eh? We all are sons. No man besides Macduff in the story of Macbeth could claim he wasn't born of a woman. But all of us were. All of us began life in a woman. All men. All of us. And we could agree to take one step back too. Because we are tired of being categorized as all men. Because all men aren't bad, all fathers aren't bad, and situations and circumstances shouldn't bring us into a place where it's so adversarial. Maybe what we need to do is get all of the good people on one side of the conversation. Women need support. They're not going to be able to do this on their own. I mean, sure, we will get somewhere, but we need to get as far forward as we could. We have to change this place. Yes. We have a lot to do to fix this country. I mean, plenty of people at this point might be tuning out and they because they don't want to hear that fundamentally it's going to come into your home and it's going to be something that you have to look at. What am I doing wrong here? Am I raising toxic people? We have to take responsibility, and then as fathers, because fathers are really given a bum rap. Fathers are treated like, once they have a bad father, all fathers bad. So men try not to. I remember when my son was a baby, they used to have a thing in the park where I lived. I used to call it the father's bench, because we'd come out with the kids on an afternoon, they'd be there little tricycles, and we agreed, and this is not complaining or whinging, but men don't have the support system women have. We made a joke in the candlelight movement meeting this Monday. We meet every Monday. And the woman come in and tell you, oh, I love how you're looking at blouse. And, oh, that pants. So now what do you do with your hair? So me and Stefan and Paul, her husband, Satish, started to play with one another and say, yeah, you're looking good in that jersey. But as a joke, but men, we don't get intimacy like that. We don't get closeness. We don't get to express. Men have to see one another and rumple their hair and cuff them and throw them down and cuss them. And then all of it. That's how we express love. And I want to say, I'm a tough guy, you know. I'm a brave guy. I'll stand up to anybody. But I want to say that the best I've ever been is when I became somebody who could express how I feel. And I think that we need to have conversations that us men, we need to get there. Even if it's not for us, but for our sons looking up to us, we have to be able to have open and honest conversations with them about what's right and what's wrong. Because ultimately, there's a family we're talking about, all the men and all the women living together. We're not going to have harmony and happiness in this country if we only have one side carrying the load.
Yes, because even domestic violence against men is not even taken seriously.
Exactly.
If you go in a station and say, well, all right, beat my police going and laugh at you until they come out of the station.
So what are you supposed to, what are they insinuating? Are you supposed to defend yourself, hit her back? What are they insinuating? Because you can't, because then there's no middle ground. But the moment you hit her back, then it's all about you.
Yeah. But nobody ain't seen when he getting licks all the time.
A lady called me yesterday in tears, like in literal tears on the phone, and I mean there was nothing that I could do to help her other than give her some advice. But she called because her son, his wife left him, and he didn't mind that she left him, but she left him and she basically took the children away from him and put them in an environment where it's not safe. I think she's living with a man and it's just like one bedroom, and the mother's literally crying. And she said she doesn't know what to do because in the eyes of the court and the law, it's the mother, and the mother has the right to children. And I remember thinking that there should be a special place in hell for women who use their children as tools and pawns to punish and trap and torture men, because there are so many good fathers out here who don't deserve what women do to them, and they get away with it.
It's about power. We've grown up in a culture where you're either weak or you're powerful, and everybody wants to move from weak to powerful. And in every situation, we negotiate in power and we do the clumsily. So we're not having conversations. That point here is a very important point. Men, this fellow Ronald Fiends and the Single Fathers Association are trying to make go. The first time he formed that organization, I said, but if I was so busy doing other things, I'd join you just to see what I could do to help you. Because being a single father, not having the support systems that women have, single mothers gather together like a flock of geese.
Yeah.
But single fathers are just there trying to figure out their way, and there is nothing for us, and we live in a society that is so toxic and violent and ghetto in our thinking. We so Neanderthal. Trinidad and Tobago is not a nice place to live.
No.
Nobody could say that Trinidad is a nice place that we grew up here. Yeah. So all of our memories and our attachments and our loved ones are here. So we're making the best of a horrible, horrible situation. But everything about this country, every single thing, your education experience, most people tell you their education experience is nasty, it's not fun. But we've gotten to that point where we think that, all right, so I can't be a victim for everything, so I'll stop talking. But from the moment you out there on your own, life in this country has been abusing you.
Yeah. Judy and I actually, well enough, said it completely separately, and then we happen to say it in front of each other. Trinidad is like an abusive relationship because you don't realize how toxic it is. Like, you just go through the motions. This one die, you're not safe in your house, you're sleeping with a knife under your bed. You have normalized, as you know is my word, this sort of situation, and when it becomes your normal, you don't realize that this should not be happening. You can't even begin to,
because you don't have a choice.
No, and that's the thing. You just have to accept that this is how it is, and
you
that's
to navigate and live that. People stop in the road. You blow your horn. The man in front, for example, me today. The man in front of me open his car and stick himself out the car.
Yeah,
road rage.
What's the next step in this dance? Do you come out? Do I come out? What I'm sure all the other people around us, do they come out? And I'm watching this guy because half his body out the car. So he halfway across the road, so he's blocking all the traffic, and half I blow my horn. So I want to tell him something, but I realize that is gas, that's fire looking for gas.
Yeah.
I said, bro, just go away now, man. We good. It's all good, peace, love. But the country, and
it's like we're on edge.
he must leave his house good,
Everybody's angry.
and somebody treat him bad somewhere.
I don't know if he leave his house good. I feel he wake up like that.
No, but we need to have this conversation. We need to stop pretending. We need to tell Ross Advertising, Lonsdale, Saatchi and Saatchi, McCann Erickson, and all the other advertising agencies, stop pretending. Stop fooling us. Stop giving us the nonsense about the Ganges me denial. Stop pretending that Trinidad is an ideal place to live. All the models in your ads are victims. All of those people are hurting. All the makeup in the world and filters, not taking it away when the lights turn off on that film of that ad. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, all of us, the Archbishop, all the what are they for Hinduism? What is there for Muslims? What is their leaders? All of those people have to come together. We have an IRO, an interreligious organization. Take a role. Take a role in society. Step forward. Raise your voices. Say that we have to start having conversations as people. The Parliament is leading us down a street that when we turn on the Parliament channel, what we see is violence. Yeah. What we see is abuse. They are literally battering each other. And they have a speaker and a Senate president whose job it is to just keep them apart from hurting each other. Nothing going on in there, something that you could sit down and feel enlightened. I just spent some time and I understand how things work now. And this is a way for it to work. You never get that. No. You always get, but this man is a fool. That woman's a clown. Why are they getting on like that?
They act like 8-year-olds.
Juvenile. They're juvenile.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. And so if it's in Parliament, you know, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Who starts this conversation? There must be some way in this country before it implodes, before Colin gets his riot, there must be somebody who could stand up and say, and again, that's why I held on to Andrea Barrett. Because this little innocent angel, she gave us an opportunity for me and Winston Ragu to bury the hatchet. And I love that. I love that me and Inchan Ishmael are on the same team, that me and Ian Allen was on the same stage. I love that. And people try to make confusion. People come inside it and try to make all kind of couture. And the more they look to make confusion, is the more I want to hug people and kiss them on the forehead. I want to tell you, I told him
specific.
all of them all but me. But Stefan said he put something on the head and it going. I ain't know where he put it. But I tell all you, I told Inchan in Barker Grounds, no matter what, I said, Inchan, I don't know how much more days I have left in my life. You and I will be friends for all of those days. I'm telling Winston Ragu that now. I want to tell Marcia, brave boy, we had our disagreements, water under the bridge. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have been divided by foolishness and nonsense for too long. And it is time for us to start to have the conversation. If I make your life better, and your life better, and your life better, my life will get better.
That's what it has to be about.
It needs to be about that.
It has to be about putting aside petty differences and all the BS. I mean, when I saw you and Inchan and Ian on stage that Friday night, the last night of the vigil, which was the night of Andrea's funeral, I knew that all of you all were there hugging and you know, having this moment because you all are fathers. And then Inchan said it afterwards, you know, he was like, I'm doing this because of my wife and I'm doing this, I have 2 daughters. And to me that is the most obvious thing. If you can do something to protect your family, the women in your life, I mean the men and the boys and the society as a whole, but if you can do something so that your wife, you don't have to worry if she's going to get kidnapped or your little baby girl, then wouldn't you do it?
If all the women safe, then my wife's safe, and my mother's safe, and my daughter's safe. Yeah. So once all the women safe, all the women safe. That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal, eh? That'll be our objective. And we can't make women safe by killing all the bad guys. We make women safe by stop raising bad guys.
Yes, exactly. There's a saying by Frederick Douglass, and I hope I don't misquote it. It's far easier to raise strong children than repair broken men. And that is what we need to do. And you know, the president, I mean, I really have become a sort of a fangirl for the president, because I don't know how many people read her release for International Women's Day. It really made my heart feel happy because you know what, I completely appreciate now her constraints with her position, but I felt that, you know what, the head of the state, who's a woman, is standing with us, and she said something in an interview with, I think, Natalie Legault, right, sorry, and I saw a clip. I haven't gotten to see the entire thing, but she said something that hearing her speak is like hearing the thoughts in my head, and she said that we have to start teaching boys in schools when you are basically in primary school about things like domestic violence. I mean, obviously you wouldn't go too much into the graphic aspect of it, but teaching respect to boys, teaching them that, you know, you don't hit a girl. You know, we, as women, I'm sure Felicia and Candy would have had experiences as well. When you're a girl and a boy runs up to you and hits you or pulls your hair, you know, they say he likes you. That is how at 8 years old.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's fine.
But I want to tell you this. The way I disagree with what you just said, that we have to teach them about those things. When you are a parent and you look at how children react, as look at Bella, and she reminds me so much of Joshua. Bella learned how to say good morning. So good morning, everybody, nighttime, good morning. She say good morning, right? Everybody. Bella, and every child that you see is a baby, like a baby, and every baby is her friend. And they have in her mind, and the other babies, when they come together, there is no violence is taught, hatred is taught. We don't have that natural. We are taught that. What we need to do is stop teaching our children to hate. Right. That's what we need to do. I remember growing up and being taught in school, St. Mary's College, we used to terrorize people who we suspected were homosexual. And that was part of the culture then. And there was a song Burchard wrote, Calypsonian, Norman, Is That You? And he was singing about Norman, who was a good partner, and he turned out to be a strange fella, and being gay, and I just bringing that up, that I remember how violent we were in our words, and it's only when I came to the realizations that I have now. When you get compassion, when you get empathy, the hardest thing to forgive is yourself for the times that you didn't know.
Wow.
In a culture that taught you that you have to express yourself this way, you have to now come to a place where you have to confront everything that you've been taught and realize it's been nonsense. Our Prime Minister speaks like a thug when he's ready. But he's not the only one doing it. But people keep talking about grooming your pastures and shit kicking and all the other things that comes out his mouth. And he has to understand. I posted something today about they did this thing called instant air, just instant water, just add it to water, dehydrated water. So I posted and I made a joke. Somebody tell me this is for all the PNM followers, and I wrote that. And somebody messaged me on the thread. Says, you know how many PNM followers follow you and how they must feel about that?
Yeah. And
that made me take down the post.
I wanted to send you that.
No, but I took down the post because they're not. I don't want to lose the trend at all. I just want to say that I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. If 5 people follow me, if 5,000 people follow me, I have a responsibility to take the conversation a certain way.
Yeah.
Because if I can't be changed, I can't ask for change.
Be the change.
Exactly.
And the Prime Minister has a responsibility. He has, the President, when she spoke, Robert Abraham called me on the phone and said, she signed the petition yet? I said, no, I know Felicia and Candice working on it, and maybe she'll sign it, maybe she won't. But we, all of us have to find ourselves in a place, and I don't want to quote the Bible, but it says, don't take out the speck from your brother eye, take out the lamppost from yours. And we have to see ourselves and what we are contributing negatively to society and start to change that. And men, I want to tell you something, it don't make you strong to be a thug. That's not strong. Strong is when you realize that you don't have to be a thug to be strong. That's strong.
Very well said.
ladies, I mean, we give them the extra 7 minutes.
Yes,
and I don't know. So everybody have to have their closing comments now as we bring this to a wrap. But this was one of the most enjoyable shows I've ever done in my life. You all are very, very knowledgeable, and yeah. I don't know, Candy, you want to go first? Take all the time.
No, I just want to say to the woman out there, as a woman, you have to be stronger than a man. Yeah? You have to be stronger than a man. And if you are in a position or situation where you have to fight for your life, then do so. Yeah? And survive.
Strong advocate for self-defense.
Love
But I want
it.
to tell you, women are stronger than men. My mother carried my family. My father mouth big. We used to call him Aga the Horrible when we were small. He said, come on, he said, but my mother, like a rock, carried my family. Women
And
are
some
stronger.
women don't know how strong they are.
Women are stronger than men. We just don't admit it.
I just want to say to everybody who has not signed the petition, because technically that is why we are here today and every other day that we've been here. Please find the petition and sign the petition. I know sometimes I feel like I sound like a broken record, but I want to beg everybody to want better for our country. You know, I want to beg people to be your sister's keeper and to look out for your brother. And at the end of the day, what we are doing here in terms of the petition is for every single citizen. Some of the things that we've asked for are specific to women, and some are specific to making the entire country safer. And at the end of the day, we need to look out for each and every one. If it is by some stroke of luck, you feel that this is the safest country in the world, and you feel safe to, you know, if you hear noise in the night when you're about to sleep, or when you're in the middle of sleeping and you don't feel like somebody's in your house, or if you can't find your loved one on the phone and you don't instantly go into panic because of the reality of living in this country, if you feel safe to walk down the road and you know that nothing is going to happen to you regardless of what hour of the day it is, then okay, fine, continue and live your life as you please. But the reality of this country is that, as Candy said in her live, I was looking at it, women are so unsafe in this country. All citizens are unsafe, but the level of violence and brutality meted out to women every single day. I mean, we hear some of the bigger stories like Candy and Andrea and Ashanti and Shannon and Asami, but every single day I'm certain that at least one woman is raped by a PH taxi driver, and there's so many rapes that are not reported for many reasons, and you know, that is unacceptable. We have to do every single thing we can do so that there can be no more Ashantis or no more Asamis or no more Andreas. And I've always said that if what we are doing here saves one life, saves one woman from going through the horrors of rape and murder, then everything I've done in the last couple weeks has been worth it. So, in closing, please, if you have not signed the petition, sign. If you have signed it, but your relatives, your friends, your families have not signed it, please find it, make it available. We have on Facebook countless lists of places, business places, people in different communities. We have a lady I've spoke to today, and she's in Gasparillo. There's a couple from Sandy Grande, the Rampasads. I won't call your full name right now, but they have a schedule for since last week of everywhere they are going to take the petition. Today, Mr. Rampasad sent me a message. I think he was in Mayaro, in the market in Mayaro. He was on Manzanilla Beach 2 days ago. Every single day, they are going to a location in the east and they are taking the petition. And I have to find out how many sheets he has. He sent me a photo with a bunch of sheets that he has completed. And we have so many amazing people who are so enthusiastic about this, because you know what, for once this country has hope. We have given people, and I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to talk us up, but if you speak to anybody who's a member of what we do and who is running around the place trying to get petition sheets signed, it is because they feel like we are doing something when nobody has ever done anything. And if it is that they can do this and protect themselves and their loved ones and their children and their wives, then that is what they will do, if it means going to the market and getting a signature. So please, this affects everybody. This is for the entire country. I wish that we could all continue to put aside whatever petty differences we have, any personality issues. You could not like me, that's fine. I mean, I don't know why, but you could not like Philip, but this is bigger than us. This has nothing to do with Candace or Philip or Felicia or any of the faces you see. We are trying to facilitate something to make everyone in this country safer, and I cannot think of a more worthy goal than that, to encourage everyone to just say, let's do this for this country, let's do this for our future children, because I can't have children in this country. I've said that before. Their parents who don't know how they're going to bring up their children, their parents who are on their way out of this country because they are so unsafe for their little girls and their little boys. So please, let us do one thing in our lifetimes to impact our entire country. Please find a petition and sign the petition. Thank you.
Yeah, my turn. Perfectly said, Candace, and there's not much for me to add to that other than to reiterate and underscore what she said with regards to signing the petition. For me personally, as a young teen growing up and as a young adult, I experienced two of my closest friends. Both were raped, both gang raped, one twice in separate incidents. And it didn't happen to me, but as their friends, you get to hear the graphic details of what real monsters really look and sound like. And this just happened in my world and in my space. I can't fathom and imagine just how many other people are walking around, because in both cases, these were unreported cases. They were scared. And I think about how many other people are walking around with those horror stories, that they probably relive every day, like my friends do. And for me, this petition is more than just hope. And when I say it's doing something tangible, back then I felt very helpless listening as a friend. I mean, all I could do was hug them and hold their hands and listen to them cry and cry with them. And I felt very helpless. I was angry at the time, because I felt like Trinidad and Tobago was just not a country for young women to grow up in, and that it had to happen to two separate friends. I was angry, and I mean, processing those feelings now as an adult, especially with the candlelight movement, I felt like I could not do anything then. But in the situation that I'm in now, in the position that I'm in now, being involved in the candlelight movement, being involved in activism, I finally feel for the first time like something can actually be done. Because I've looked to lawmakers, I've looked to the police, I've looked to the government, I've looked to the opposition, and I haven't found any answers. And that's probably because it all rested with us. And when I mentioned earlier that me and my other three sisters that we're doing this, I feel for the first time, I feel that unity. I feel, we are standing together as sisters, as a country. I mean, there are the four of us, but we also have these men, these strong men standing behind us and pushing just as hard on issues that impact us as women, because it inevitably impacts the entire nation. I personally want to raise children in this country. I don't want to migrate, that's the truth. Right now, I don't think it's that country, so I have to make it that country. I want to make this a safe country, and this candlelight petition is probably the most tangible way without probably being in office or government, that I can see myself doing this and making that difference. So for all of you, I know everybody out there must know somebody. You yourself could be or had been, or God forbid could be a victim, but this is why we're doing this, of course, because we don't want anybody else to be a victim. We don't want anybody else to fall prey to, you know, the horror stories that so many young women and boys have had to go through in this country. So please, people, this petition, very, very, very important. Make that effort, get it signed, and let us use our collective voices to make that change, to make that difference, to actually advocate for something positive that could really impact and change the way we operate forever here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. You heard from three very powerful women. I don't think I have anything to add to that. And I'd like to say thank you to all of them, Candice, Candy, Felicia, for being here tonight. I knew I was going to learn a lot, and I did. We want a lot of structure in the show from next week. The show is going to be nightly. We're going to be doing a 1 hour show every night. I think it's starting next week, Wednesday. And we're going to be 7 to 8 o'clock. We're finalizing all the details now. Tomorrow, Friday, we're at our headquarters from 6 p.m. Drive up, sign up, drive in, sign in, however you want to say it. We're going to have teams, and if you would like to volunteer to be on a team, reach out to Felicia or Candice. We have all the usual suspects who've been with us from the start, calling all of you out. Come out in little clusters of 3 and 4 with your petitions and your sanitizer and your pen. And as people pull up, you just facilitate the sign-in. Wish them well. We're not going to be breaking any rules or any laws, but we're going to make sure that this petition gets signed. Drive up, sign up. It's tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, our headquarters, 14 to 17 Park Street, which is on the corner of Phillip Street and Park Street, which is the end of Arapita Avenue by La Perouse Cemetery, before Scotiabank headquarters, main branch. And once, if you're coming from anywhere out of town, once you see Power Gen 4 stacks, be in the vicinity of that. There's a place called Victoria Square. You should be able to find it on Waze, and if you need to, you could message me and I would help you. I want to say thank you to Satish Ramsaran and Joseph and Jason, who worked very hard tonight to keep this show on track. I want to thank all the people who come to our headquarters and drop water for us and help us and stuff to help us. I want to say thank you very, 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 very much for that. We always need, and anything you can give us helps us. I want to say thank you to the members of the Candlelight Movement who were here tonight. Chan and Stefan and Jody and Avanel. One of the high points of my week is a Monday when I meet with all of these people who give me hope that we are not just aimlessly lost as a nation. Candy came tonight and added an exclamation mark after that. I hope we get to keep her around and have her aboard to help her help us. The reality of our situation not going to change until we change it. The truth of everything they said not going to go away. And don't wait for the wolf to reach your door. That is the worst thing to happen. Don't hold your head on the ball when you realize that everything people was talking about was the truth. That this could randomly happen to you or yours. Fathers, for your daughters, find the petition, sign the petition. Mothers, for your families, children, boys, girls, everybody. This is about all of us. It touches all of us. And as long as one of us is unsafe, nobody in this country can be happy. We need to fix that. And we need to fix it at our level. There's an old saying that when the people lead, the leaders follow. It is time for us to lead now. It's time for us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to say enough. We're tired of what was normalized. We're no longer interested in the thuggery, the ghetto culture. We're no longer interested in the corruption and the violence that has become our politics. We want to unclench our fists and open our hands and join together for a better Trinidad and Tobago. We've been making that example ourselves and healing and ending any and all entities that existed at our level, and I think that is the best thing that we can do. So find the petition, sign the petition all through Trinidad and Tobago. It is available to you. And tomorrow, Friday from 6 p.m., find the petition, sign the petition. Next week we'll be going south again to SSL car park with another drive-up, sign-up. For as long as there's a COVID spike, we'll be doing it that way. So until tomorrow, for those of you who come in, and until I see you again, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago. This has been Plain Talk.